Does your fate change if you make changes in the English letters used in writing your name? Well, there are many who are making millions out of this business of changing the English spellings of the names of the people, and there are millions of people who are believing that this is the best and easy way to turn their bad fate into good tides, and are ready to spend their money in trying out this quick trick. And the list of those who are standing in such lines includes some notable figures from films, arts, politics and sports. Well, any field where there is uncertainty in achieving success. But does this trick really work? Is there any scientific evidence backing this belief? I made a good study of all the materials I could find on this subject and analyzed them by using known scientific facts and simple common sense. Here I am presenting the results of my study and thereby tell you what this so-called numerology is all about, where it came from, what are their main claims and assumptions, and then how much truth or evidence is available to support them. Let me first tell you what it is about. There are so many variations of it being practiced out there, and it would take a lot of time to explain them all, and instead of adding any value, they would only add to more confusion. And in any case, the variations differ from each other only in terms of the methods used and not much in terms of their madness. So, in order to make it simple, I will explain here only one of those versions. Numerologists basically use two key inputs. The first key input is the date of birth of the person as per the Gregorian calendar, as modified according to the modern science. The second key input is the name of the person as written using the English alphabets. From the date of birth, they derive three single-digit numbers. Here, derivation means the reduction of the number into a single digit, which is done by adding all the digits in that number and continue that process until you get a single number. Let me explain this process with an example. Let's say the date of birth is 15th August 1947, which is written as 15/8/1947. From this, the birth number is derived from the days part of the birth date. Here, it is 15. If you add the digits 1 and 5, you get 6. So, the birth number is 6. Next, the attitude number is derived from the day number and the month number taken together. Here it is 15 and 8. If you add all these digits together, we get 14. And since it is a two-digit number, you add the digits again to get 5. So, the attitude number is 5. The life path number is derived from the day, month and year numbers all taken together. That is from 15, 8 and 1947. By adding all the digits here, you get 35. And by adding the digits again, you get the number 8. So, the life path number is 8. Similarly, from the name of the person also, they derive three different numbers, which they call expression number, heart's desire number, and personality number. But how do they get the numbers from letters? They do this by using a conversion table such as this or this. For the demo here, I will pick this table just because it looks simpler and systematic. Here, all the English letters have been assigned the numbers 1 to 9 as per their alphabetical sequence. Now, let's take for example the name Bharat Indian. If you replace the name with the numbers corresponding to the alphabets in the name, it reads as 281912954915. Now, the expression number comes by taking all the letters in the name into consideration. The heart's desire number you get by taking only the vowels in the name. The personality number by taking only the consonants in the name. So here we list out all the numerological numbers we obtained for Mr. Bharat Indian, born on 15th August 1947. Birth number 6, attitude number 5, life path number 8, expression number 2, heart design number 3, personality number 8. For each of these key numbers, they have their own interpretation of what these numbers mean. Here is one version used by them for the interpretation of these numbers. For our discussion here, it is not important what meanings they assign to these numbers, so we will skip that part. Let us look at what they do with these numbers. Here they use a concept called compatibility between the numbers. And here I am showing you one version of the compatibility table which they use for this purpose. They use this kind of tables to determine whether the key numbers derived from the name and the date of birth are compatible or not. And they make suggestions to change the spelling of the name if there is any incompatibility. Here in this case, the life path number which comes from the date of birth is 8 and the expression number which comes from the full name is 2. These two are compatible as per this compatibility table. In addition, the personality number here is 8, which is identical to life path number. So the numerologist hopefully would not suggest any changes in the name. They also use such tables to check whether your house number, vehicle number or phone number suits you. I hope they have not yet gone to the extent of checking the compatibility with your Aadhaar number and PAN number also. They also check compatibility between two people by comparing their key numerological numbers. Well, that summarizes the methods employed by the numerologists. Please note that each numerologist may use different sets of tables and interpretations, and some of them may try to find fault with my explanation given here. So, I would like to make it clear to you that this explanation is only to give you a glimpse of what it is all about, and it is not meant to serve as a lesson to learn or practice numerology. Now that we have understood the basis and the methods employed by them, we can summarize the key points as here. Each letter of the English alphabet is associated with a digital number 1 to 9, and each of these digits possess and indicate certain magical attributes. Some justify those attributes by assigning a planet to each of these digits. The English alphabets which you use to spell out your name has the greatest impact on you. Your success in life's struggle, ups and downs in your career, etc. all depend on it. So, if you make changes to your choice of the alphabets, all your troubles will vanish and you start being successful. What alphabets are to be chosen for your name depends on your date of birth as written as per the Gregorian calendar, which is currently in circulation as the modern common calendar. On listening to this, any person of above medium intelligence level would have remarked, "What the heck? How can the English letters have an influence on my life and future?" However, there are still many who may believe this type of stuff based on the extraordinary claims made by the numerologists about the success of their art. I will now list out some of those claims and also expose their falsehoods, lies and manipulations behind them. One of the claims is that this practice is age-old and that it had its origins in India from the Vedas and Vedic period onwards. Therefore, this is a sacred art venerated by Indians since time immemorial. That's a pure lie. This practice is based on Gregorian calendar and English spellings of names. Neither of them have any relation to India or Vedas or Vedic period. So, the claim that numerology has roots in India or related to Vedas is a blatant lie. The shameful part of this claim is that this claim is made by the Indian Hindus themselves, who claim to uphold the honor of the Vedas and Vedic systems. They should explain when these English alphabets and the Gregorian calendar systems became part of the Vedic culture. If you are wondering where this actually originated, I would assign this whole responsibility on one charlatan belonging to the early 20th century. His name was William John Warner, who later became famous with the title Cairo, the palmist. William was born in Rathtown, a village near Dublin, Ireland, on 1st November 1866. As a child, he spent a few years in India where he learnt the tricks used by the palmists and astrologers. After he returned home, he used these tricks and was very successful in making a good business out of it. He later shifted to London, traveled many countries and finally settled in Hollywood, USA, where he made a roaring business out of this. He claimed to have made personal predictions for many famous clients and to have foreseen lot of world events. However, many of them were later proved to be faked and staged, while of course many more were really successfully fooled by him, and he amassed a good fortune out of this business. The Book of Numbers, written by him and published in the year 1926, became the Bible for the future charlatans who followed his footsteps to gain money by encashing on human greed and folly. So, except that this guy claimed to have learnt this palmistry from India, there is no connection whatsoever with his numerological nonsense and ancient India. It is only the foolish among the modern Indians who are believing this nonsense and claiming it to be their own heredity. Another claim they make is that the great mathematician Pythagoras of ancient Greece was the originator of these tricks. This again doesn't have any material proof. Some people who called themselves as Pythagoreans might have practiced some mystical beliefs in some numbers, but there is no evidence which supports the claim that Pythagoras himself was the originator of numerology. The only proof they give is that he seems to have said the world is built upon the power of numbers, which sounds more like a metaphorical statement rather than as a matter of fact statement. In modern science, we understand this statement in the sense that the structure and working of the world cannot be understood without the knowledge of mathematics. This sentence in no way indicates any special metaphysical powers attributable to the digits which form those numbers. The claim that it is an ancient art coming from Chaldean, Greek or Hebrew antiquity is also false. Gregorian calendar, which is used as a base of numerology, is not that ancient. It was the result of a reform initiated by Pope Gregory in 1582, and it was not adopted in England until the year 1752. And in India, it was adopted much later, after the British had established their power of rule in India. And even the English alphabet and spelling rules were not standardized until the 16th century. So, the claim that numerology is ancient is also a blatant lie. One more claim is that it is science, the science of numbers, but their methods do not contain any concepts proven by science. And moreover, there is no consistency in what they say. Everyone does it differently and everyone claims theirs is the true and tested truth. For example, there are two different conversion tables for converting the English alphabets to numbers. One is called Chaldean and another Pythagorean. The Pythagorean table assigns all the digits 1 to 9 to the letters as per their alphabetical order, whereas the Chaldean table assigns only the numbers 1 to 8 to the alphabets while leaving out number 9 without assigning it to any of the letters. And the ordering of the letters seems to be more whimsical than logical. However, each of them claims that theirs is the true and correct table. That itself proves that it is not science. The most ridiculous and incredulous claim they make is about the English spelling of the name impacting the person's life. And why only the English spelling? The reason they give is that English is the universal language. That is again a lie. The truth is that the only reason why they use the English script is because it is not a strictly phonetic script. Same letter is used to represent various different sounds, and same sound can be written with various different letters. Have you ever seen a numerologist trying to use any Indian language script? No, almost all Indian languages use a very strictly phonetic script where each letter represents only one sound and each sound can be represented only with one particular letter assigned to it. For example, there is only one way of writing the word Deepak in Hindi, like this. However, in English, you can write it in different ways, like this. This is the weakness of the English language script, which these numerologists exploit to fool the public. Do you still believe that their claims are credulous? Even if you assumed that the English script is a divine script which is chosen by your gods to determine your fate, here is some more info. The alphabets in English are also randomly arranged, just by convention and forced habit. They have no natural logic in arranging those letters in that particular order. I have already mentioned that there are two different versions of the tables which are used to convert the letters into numbers. This table, they call it Pythagorean, follows the alphabetical order. And this one, they call it Chaldean table and claim it to be based on phonetic arrangement of letters. But we can easily see that this arrangement is also random and does not follow any system of phonetics. Each of these schools claim that their table is the correct one and the other one is false. This again proves that it is sheer nonsense. If the numerologists are really interested in the phonetic order of the letters, then they should have used the trick with the Indian alphabets. There are 33 or more consonants and 13 or more vowels, and all these are arranged very systematically in a well-defined phonological order. Why didn't they try their tricks on these scripts? Just because these languages do not allow changes in their spelling. And moreover, if you try to change the spelling, the meaning itself may often change drastically. So, the spelling change tricks do not work out in these Indian languages. Another flaw is the attachment of mystic importance to 10 numerical symbols coming out of the base 10 place value system of representing the numbers. There is no evidence that nature has any special love for this number 10. The only reason we the humans have started using the base 10 system is due to the fact that we have got used to counting using the fingers of both the hands, and a majority of us have 5 fingers on each hand. If we had stopped counting with 5 fingers, then we would have had a 5-digit system 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Or if we had continued using the toe fingers also, then we would have had 20 symbols. If we had 6 fingers per hand like these people have, then we would have been using the base 12 or base 6 system. So, attaching any significance to the symbols associated with such random selection of the counting base is really ridiculous. Another flaw in numerology is that the Gregorian calendar which they use for their calculations is an entirely artificially constructed calendar. The only thing correct about it is that the number of days per year is adjusted according to the tropical year as per scientific observations and calculations. Other than that, the base for counting the number of the year, the number of days per month, and when the year should start, all these are purely randomly chosen and none of these have any relation to any natural event. So, any rational mind would ask how a randomly designed calendar like this could be the basis for deciding or decoding your luck or fate. Don't you think it is ridiculous? There is much more ridiculousness than this. Look at the sequence of these single digit numbers. The 31st of January gives a birth number 4 and attitude number 5. And then 1st of February gives the birth number 1 and attitude number 3. This sequence thus abruptly changes at the end or beginning of every month and also at the end beginning of every year. If we point out this fault to them, they may suggest to use the Indian calendars which are related to the lunar phases, or maybe Iranian calendar which follows the solar path by taking the equinoxes and solstices into account. But there are so many different calendars to choose from, and any selection of one out of them again becomes a random choice, and therefore it does not accord any legitimacy to numerology. We can also do a hypothesis testing to check the validity of the claims of the numerologists that the date of birth determines the success or failure of people. So an exercise was done by a team. They collected the date of births of about 800 Nobel Prize winners and checked their numerological birth number to see if there were any patterns which indicate that any select numbers were found to be responsible for their intellectual success. This table shows the results. A close look at the table clearly shows that there is no such pattern or link. All the birth numbers are equally capable of producing equal number of Nobel Prize winners. It clearly shows that there is no evidence to show that the birth numbers have any relation to their winning the Nobel Prizes. If numerology is such a clear fraud, how are they able to fool so many people? They fool them by using some numerological tricks. Here is one example to show you how they mesmerize you into believing that theirs is a divine art. They show you the beauty of the method which they use to reduce the numbers into a single number and astonish you with it. No matter which way they add the numbers, they get the same result. Look at this example. Here, if you add the digits in the year, month and date separately or add all the digits together at the same time, you will ultimately get the same single digit number 8. Even though the double digit number you get before that is not the same. And most people may get mesmerized by this result without knowing the arithmetic reason behind it. If you have a keen arithmetic eye, you would have noticed that this trick of adding the digits successively to get a single digit number is equivalent to finding the modulo 9. That is the remainder you get after dividing any number by 9. For those who could not see the connection with division by 9, let me explain it with a simple example. Let us select any number, let's say 31. Now look at how adding the digits is the same as dividing it by 9 and then taking the remainder. Look at this equation closely, you will understand how. Here, the addition of digits is also 3 plus 1 and the remainder after dividing by 9 is also 3 plus 1. So you see the connection? So there is no magic behind this. They are basically reducing the 10 base numbers into 9 base numbers and writing down only the last number and ignoring the higher numbers. Here you should notice that they write number 9 when the remainder is 0 because in their system 0 and 9 are the same. Here is another example how one numerologist tried to fool the public. They say Vivekananda, a great saint of India, was born on 12th January 1863. His birth number is 3, his attitude number is 4, his life path number is 4. Look at the incidents at the year of their happening and the age at which they happened. They always had the same final reduced single digits. They show this kind of table and claim that it is a rare coincidence that the year and age had the same reduced digit. Many gullible people would believe that this is very supernatural and may even attribute it to the greatness of Vivekananda only because they are arithmetically illiterate. If you do a simple check, you will find that it has nothing to do with the greatness of Vivekananda or the greatness of numerology. The simple reason for this incidence is the birth year 1863 happens to be exact multiple of 9, and therefore the age number and the year number will always have the same single digits. This happens to anyone who is born in a year which is a multiple of 9. For example, if you are born in 1989, here is how the different years and your age would look like. So here again, there is nothing magical about it. These charlatans are able to make you believe something to be supernatural or special only because you did not know this level of arithmetic and that it is very normal and natural. I will end this video with another example of a lie which they used to fool the public. This one was told by William the Cairo, the chief originator of this fraud. It was about Napoleon Bonaparte. He claimed that Napoleon was successful as long as he kept his name as Napoleon Bonaparte as given by his father to him at birth, not the spelling. However, his downfall started after he chose to write his name as Napoleon Bonaparte, removing the U in his surname. This is an outright lie. The fact was that the name given by his father was Napoleon Bonaparte, not the spelling, which corresponded with the Italian Corsican origin of their family. When he joined the military ranks and got involved in French Revolution, in order to hide his Italian ancestry and sound more Francais, he changed his name to Napoleon Bonaparte when he was about 27 years of age. And all his successes, both military and political, happened under his new name only. So, Cairo's claim that Napoleon's fall was due to his change of name is unfounded and false. Hope after listening to all this, you would have realized how numerology is founded on flimsy, randomly selected base and how the numerologists fool the public with their guile and lies. Learn to be more skeptical and be inclined to know the truth than falsehoods, and save yourself from falling into the traps of such imposters, liars and charlatans. Thank you.